Hi there, this is Scooter, and I'm going to tell you the story of the Muppets Take Manhattan. All you have to do is look at your book, listen, and turn the page whenever you hear this bell. Are you ready? Okay then, here goes. This is a story about a little frog with big dreams and the pig who loved him. It's the story of a bunch of stage-struck kids in the only city big enough to put all their names in lights. And like many a showbiz tale, this one begins at the end of the senior class variety show.
That's the turn the page bell.
They know.
Well, pardonnez-moi.
The audience went wild. Beaming with pride, the Muppets took their bows and then stepped back. They left Kermit alone in the spotlight, blushing reddish green. Kermit was the writer, producer, and director of the senior class show, Manhattan Melodies.
What a frog.
What a show!
See you on Broadway.
The audience roared.
But the show's not ready,
said Kermit. Then he looked into the hopeful faces of his friends. It was graduation day, and soon they would part. It might be years before they would be together again.
You're right,
he decided.
What are we waiting for? Let's take this show to Broadway.
The famous skyline, the dazzling lights, the music and magic of Manhattan. It was all there, just outside the bus terminal where they rented lockers for the night.
Just for one night.
Fozzie reminded them.
Tomorrow, we'll be Broadway stars.
One night became 1 week, and then 1 month. They saw every Broadway producer in New York, but no one was interested in a show written by a frog and starring a pig, a bear, and a gonzo. Money and hope were running out when the weary crew crowded into a booth at a luncheonette called Pete's. Gonzo tugged at Kermit's right arm and asked a question on everyone's mind.
What are we gonna do next?
Floyd tugged at Kermit's left arm and asked a question on everyone's stomach.
Do we, got enough bread left to buy some, bread?
I don't know,
cried Kermit. Shoulders sagging, he excused himself from the table.
Poor Kermit,
said Miss Piggy.
He's blaming himself for everything.
Then she shrieked.
Ah!
Oh, as a rat in an apron came up to the table.
I'm Rizzo, your waiter,
he announced.
What do you have?
The number for the Board of Health,
said Floyd. Rizzo threw down his tiny tray.
That does it. I work my whiskers off. And for what? Rat jokes. Hardly any tips. I'm going broke here.
Oh, we know how you feel.
Fozzie said sympathetically.
We're broke, too.
Sorry, not my table.
Snapped Rizzo. He left in a huff. At the counter, Kermit was talking to Pete, the owner, and his pretty young daughter, Jenny.
So you see,
Kermit explained,
my friends and I are going to be rich and famous soon. But right now, we haven't got enough money to pay for our food.
Jenny was impressed with Kermit's honesty and spirit. Pete was, too. He agreed to feed the hungry crew. But by the time Kermit returned with the good news, his friends had reached a decision. To take the pressure off him, they would leave town and look for work elsewhere.
We've had some excellent job offers.
Fozzie fibbed. We can make, really big bucks on the road. Janice tried to sound cheerful.
Got to go,
said Animal sadly.
I understand.
Kermit gulped.
But I'm not giving up. I'll sell this show and send for you all.
The very next day, they all went their separate ways. At the train station, Miss Piggy tried to hide her breaking heart.
Moi shall return,
she pledged.
We'll be married, Kermit, the moment Manhattan Melodies opens on Broadway.
That night, from the top of the Empire State Building, a lonely little frog stared defiantly down at the big city.
I'm gonna make it, New York,
Kermit vowed. He had a dream, he had a plan, and he had a lot of new friends. Pete gave him a job washing dishes. Jenny volunteered to make the costumes he needed. Even Rizzo and his Rat Pack were willing to help. For the first part of his plan, Kermit dressed up like the flashiest frog in show business.
If you can't beat them, join them.
He said. Then he fast-talked his way into the office of the biggest talent agent in New York.
Lenny, baby, sweetheart.
Kermit cried, handing the startled man a script.
Read it. You'll love it, Lenny, baby.
Then he hurried away. Unfortunately, as soon as he was out the door, the agent threw the script in the wastebasket. Later that day, Kermit described his triumph to his new friend Jenny. Across the street in dark glasses and a trench coat, an old friend watched. Unable to part from her beloved frog, Miss Piggy had secretly returned. But the sight of him smiling brightly at another woman was more than she could bear. Letting out a squeal of rage, Piggy rushed off.